how to develop a quarterback. You're assuming that you're going into a program. I mean, I'm telling you, this is not, there's a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing when they're tasked with coaching a quarterback or calling an offense. So are you saying, I mean, just like we'd rank quarterbacks 1 to 32, do you rank offensive coordinators 1 to 32? Do you rank quarterback coaches 1 to 32? Well, what if you had the 32nd ranked coordinator in someone's mind, or the 32nd ranked quarterback coach? How is he getting a level of development that the guy who's first is getting?
Tom Brady just implied that the Cleveland Browns are intentionally sabotaging Shedeur Sanders in the NFL spotlight. Yeah, accusing the GOAT of being wrong? Not this time. He basically said that Cleveland has no clue how to mold quarterbacks. Instantly, fans knew exactly who he was referring to. During one interview, Brady ripped the curtain off the ugly reality. Some franchises don't just fail to nurture young QBs. They set them up to collapse. And the moment he said it, every head turned toward Cleveland. Because if Brady is right, Shedeur Sanders never stood a chance. He was thrown into chaos, blamed for fallout, and left to drown alone. Now everyone's wondering the same thing. Did the Browns sabotage their own quarterback future thinking no one would catch on?
The local Cleveland media keep going relentless on Shedeur. He entitled, distracted, developing slow, can't learn the playbook, not getting practice reps with the scout team, not getting practice reps at all. But what if I told you? Then don't none of that got to do nothing with football. His goes deeper than people realize. If y'all ain't seen the Tom Brady came out on Colin Cowherd, now this is pertaining to the Browns saying they developing.
It began quietly, just another routine episode of The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Brady was supposed to chat about quarterback development. Nothing controversial, nothing news-making. Until suddenly he dropped a sentence that set the entire internet ablaze. There's a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing when they're tasked with coaching a quarterback. That single line changed everything. Within minutes, NFL fans connected the dots. Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders. The rookie everyone says can't quite adjust. Brady didn't need to say names. His meaning was crystal clear. He spoke about coaching staffs ranked 32nd out of 32, about young passers left without real mentorship, and about franchises pretending to build talent while secretly tearing it down. To the casual listener, it sounded like a critique of the whole league. But to anyone following the Browns, it hit personal, because that's exactly the circus happening in Cleveland right now. Chaotic coaching, mixed communication, and a young QB treated more like a liability than a long-term investment.
Let's give him a chance with the play calling. You know you have an offensive line that isn't playing that well. So what do? Why not just play the short game so he can get the ball out of his hands very fast to run a competent goddamn offense? Outside of that, Shedeur has to be better in understanding that the offensive line that you're working with right now is not adequate. Why not allow the players that are competing for a job, in this instance, Shedeur Sanders, to finish off the 2 minutes?
The fallout was immediate. Clips from the segment flooded Twitter timelines. Analysts began stitching Brady's comments beside footage of Shedeur stuck on the sideline during team drills. By day's end, Brady exposed the Browns was trending across NFL social media. But this wasn't just another hot take. It was a direct warning. Brady said what many players have whispered for years. The NFL doesn't suffer from a player development crisis. It's a coaching crisis. Cleveland has turned quarterback chaos into a yearly ritual. New staff, new schemes, new promises, same disaster. It's like they smash the reset button every offseason and proudly label it growth. Behind the curtain, it's even uglier. Players describe confusion during meetings, endless playbook adjustments, and zero sense of direction. One coach says, "We're building." Another insists, "We're evaluating." Translation, no one's aligned, and Shedeur Sanders is the one paying the cost. Then came the moment that made everything implode. Team owner Jimmy Haslam confessed he didn't even realize Shedeur had officially been signed. Let that sink in. The man running the franchise had no idea who his rookie quarterback even was. That's not just mismanagement. That's pure negligence. The Browns keep selling the dream of developing the next great QB. But how do you build greatness when the entire leadership doesn't even know who it's supposed to be leading? Even realize what's going on? This isn't a rebuild. It's chaos pretending to be strategy. And now, thanks to Brady, that chaos is finally being dragged into the spotlight.
But I'm going to answer this question by saying Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to tell you why. I think he's being set up to fail. That's right, I'm going to say it. Okay. Here we are on national television, right? There's been 11 practices, if I remember correctly. He's been starting against, he's been playing against the third unit. He's fourth on the depth chart. And then suddenly you throw him into the start lineup, and he hasn't had any reps with the first team at all. Think about that. So you're just gonna throw him to the wolves like that, huh? I mean, you know, if he had first team snaps in practice.
This is where it stops sounding theoretical and starts getting real. Because when you actually look at how Cleveland has handled Shedeur Sanders, it's impossible not to see a setup. He's barely at first team reps, thrown into third unit drills, and then suddenly shoved into live action with orders to prove himself. No rhythm, no chemistry, no preparation. That's not development. That's sabotage wearing a disguise. Even veteran analysts pointed out, you don't shape a quarterback by isolating him from starters and then blame him when everything collapses. Meanwhile, the media twisted the story into Shedur's not ready, he's distracted, he's struggling to adjust. But how could he not struggle when the entire system around him is dysfunctional? It's like asking someone to fly a plane after you've removed the wings. Brady saw it immediately. He recognized the same disorder he narrowly avoided early in his own journey. The difference? Brady had mentors who valued structure. Shedeur is surrounded by people who preach development but never practice it. And that's exactly why Brady's comments hit like a thunderclap. Because he wasn't speaking vaguely about the NFL. He was describing this exact mess. The moment Brady's interview aired, the sports world exploded. Clips went viral within hours, and Brown sabotage dominated NFL Twitter. Local Cleveland media tried to defend the franchise, but their damage control only made things worse.
The third quarterback getting interviewed. You got nothing to do with the game. Okay, it's all for media clicks. And he's a heck of a personality, but the personality can't come out until you do something on the field. And it's a big week for Dylan Gabriel and a big week for the Browns. I mean, making that transition for him even be available to the press. I don't know why he's doing it.
You tell me. You know how that works. Is that the front office? Is that the comms team? Like, who's putting him out? So we're saying it's not really on him. We have to protect him. He's a young player.
Yep.
Why are we making him available?
Exactly. To me, I mean, there's no sense to have him.
Instead of addressing Brady's actual criticism, they turned their aim towards Shedeur, calling him spoiled, unfocused, and not ready for professional play. Classic deflection. Blame the player, protect the system. But this time, the fans didn't fall for it. Every quote, every press clip, every casual remark from Brown's staff started looking suspicious. Why was Shedeur being left out of first-team practice? Why was he doing interviews when the team claimed he wasn't part of their offensive plan? And why did the owner sound like he barely knew the kid existed? Then Stephen A. Smith entered conversation, and that's when things went nuclear. He didn't just echo Brady. He called it entrapment, saying the Browns didn't give Shedeur a shot to succeed. They gave him a setup to fail. When Louis Riddick, one of ESPN's most respected analysts, backed it up with hard numbers on reps and coaching patterns, the story shifted from speculation to proof. For the first time, people began viewing Cleveland not as unlucky, but as responsible, because the pattern was undeniable. When a team keeps developing quarterbacks who never improve, maybe the real issue isn't the players. That's the point Brady wanted everyone to grasp. The truth the NFL refuses to admit. Players get ranked, graded, and shamed publicly. Coaches? They get excuses. Brady nailed it. Everyone ranks quarterbacks 1 to 32, but what if your coach is ranked 32nd? That line landed like a knockout punch because he's absolutely right. Development isn't luck. It's repetition, structure, and real coaching. And if your offensive coordinator or QB coach has no clue what they're doing, your career can disappear before it even begins. But here's the catch. Nobody ever measures them. The quarterback misses a read and it's national headlines. A coach, he calls the wrong play. It's supposedly part of the process. That's the double standard Brady pointed out. And it's exactly what's unfolding in Cleveland right now. The Browns keep swapping offensive coordinators like a broken ride at a carnival. Every season ends the same way. Another quarterback gets blamed for everything. The cycle never ends because the responsibility never climbs upward. Brady's words were simple but cutting. You can't demand elite performance from average coaching. You can't evaluate a quarterback who was never actually taught. That's why Shedeur's case hits differently. It's not about his ability. It's about a system built to fail him while acting like it's grooming him. Then came the statement that turned an awkward situation into an outright scandal. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam admitted he had no idea about Shedeur Sanders signing. Not a slip, not confusion. He flat out said it wasn't his call, that the coaching staff handled it. Think about that. The owner of an NFL team worth millions in quarterback investments didn't even know his franchise added one of the country's most discussed prospects. That's not management. That's chaos in a tailored suit. Brady's warning suddenly hit home. If the top brass doesn't know what's happening, how can anyone below build a quarterback the right way? It's like a CEO clueless about who just joined the company. The Browns try to smooth things over with their usual PR script. Trust the process, shared accountability, all that corporate fluff. But the timing made everything worse. Coming right after Brady's viral comments, it felt less like leadership and more like damage control. Fans picked up on it instantly. Haslam's words weren't just an embarrassing soundbite. They became proof that no one in Cleveland was steering this ship. Brady didn't just expose a struggling roster. He pulled back the curtain on a collapsing hierarchy. Because this isn't only about one quarterback. It's about a franchise pretending to have structure while winging it behind the scenes. Once Brady spoke, the courtroom of public opinion opened wide, and Cleveland took the stand. Twitter, Reddit, ESPN, everyone turned into investigators overnight. Practice footage, sideline shots, even body language got dissected frame by frame. Every little move suddenly looked suspicious. Fans noticed Shedeur barely getting first-team snaps. Analysts pointed to strange media decisions, like why a third-string QB was being interviewed after a loss. None of it added up unless you believe Brady's theory. That's when the public flipped. What began as a question, is Shedeur ready? Became, are the Browns setting him up? The internet pieced it all together faster than the team could issue denials. Conspiracy threads exploded into trending discussions. Players from other squads even liked posts calling out the Browns' fake development narrative. And just like that, this wasn't a Cleveland problem anymore. It was a national headline, because when the GOAT says something smells off, fans start sniffing deeper. And the deeper they went, the worse it got. Shedeur wasn't just underperforming. He was isolated, stripped of real reps, offered no stability, then scapegoated when things fell apart. In today's social media world, that's all it takes. One quote from Brady turned a rookie's early slump into a full-scale public trial. Only this time, it wasn't the player being examined. It was the organization itself. And here's what makes it sting even more. Tom Brady once was Shedeur Sanders. A late-round pick underestimated, ignored, given scraps for practice time. He waited quietly, studied patiently, while the football world doubted him. The only difference? Brady had coaches who actually believed in teaching, actually believed in development. Bill Belichick and Dick Rabine didn't just evaluate Brady. They built him. They offered structure, patience, and accountability. When his QB coach tragically died during camp, Belichick personally stepped in to take over the role. That's how seriously they approached development. Now look at Cleveland. Shedeur's living the same story Brady once did, except his coaches seem more focused on politics than progress. No mentorship, no leadership, no guidance, just recycled lines like competition and evaluation. That's the bitter irony Brady recognizes. He understands how fragile a quarterback's early years can be, how quickly potential dies when no one cares to nurture it. If Brady hadn't been developed properly, maybe the world would never have witnessed the GOAT. And that's exactly why he's speaking out now. He's not just defending one rookie. He's defending an entire generation. Because deep down, He knows the pain of being underestimated and the speed with which a franchise can bury a career before it even begins. Brady's words might have been directed at Cleveland, but their echo reached far beyond Ohio. What he revealed isn't a Browns-only crisis. It's an NFL epidemic. Every year, the league drafts quarterbacks with immense potential, and every year, half of them vanish before they get a fair chance. Why? Because the system itself is collapsing. Teams preach development, but behind closed doors, it's pure chaos. New playbooks every season, ego-fueled coaches, no patience, no structure. Brady just said out loud what most players whisper in locker rooms. Coaching has quietly become the league's biggest blind spot. Quarterbacks are benched after a single bad series, while coaches survive years of mediocrity. It's a cycle built on excuses instead of accountability. And Shedeur Sanders may be its newest casualty. He entered a franchise that promises growth, but delivers confusion. And when the chaos hits, the player becomes a fall guy, never the plan. That's what makes Brady's warning cut so deep. He wasn't ranting. He was raising an alarm. If the NFL keeps protecting coaches instead of nurturing players, it'll keep losing future stars before they even take off. Maybe it's time to stop rebuilding quarterbacks and start rebuilding coaches. Because in a league obsessed with talent, the real problem isn't who's under center. It's who's holding the clipboard. So now the question isn't if Tom Brady was right. It's how long the NFL can afford to ignore him. When the greatest quarterback ever declares the system broken, you don't shrug, you listen. Cleveland can spin, deny, and deflect all at once, but the damage is irreversible. The entire league just got a front row seat to how fragile development really is, and how quickly it mutates into sabotage when those in charge stop being accountable. Shedeur Sanders never asked to be part of a controversy. He only wanted a fair shot. And maybe that's exactly what Brady's trying to give him. Not through coaching, but through truth. Because when a legend exposes a machine, he's not saving one player. He's warning everyone still stuck inside it. So here's the real question.